Even me. Thanks for coming back so promptly. Someday, it's still March 27th and it's still Friday and it's 1:30. And we are here on a amendment to H 933 from Representative North. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Chair, and colleagues for having me in. I've not yet had the privilege of being in here for testimony, I don't think. So, yes, so very quickly, and I apologize for coming on third reading rather than earlier. It's just things are coming at such a rapid pace, I couldn't keep up. But bottom line is, what this amendment does is provide state tax, income tax relief on Social Security benefits up through, and I can't remember the exact numbers, it's on the order of $150,000 a year. You know, they're earners of up to $150-ish thousand a year, filing jointly and you know, a little less than that for individual filers. And so the whole purpose here is to basically finish or continue the work that was started last year when we bumped up the Social Security exemptions, I think by $5,000 on each of those brackets. And this is just kind of taking it to what I think is a more reasonable number, 150,000-ish. I can't remember, 152.
It's doubling all of the thresholds.
Roughly doubling the thresholds. Yep. So yeah, really just trying to bring some tax relief to the folks in the area that need it the most, and putting an upper limit on it so as not to give tax relief to folks who are, you know, not doing this well enough. So they're as they currently are. No kidding, obviously. And the initial JFO estimate of the revenue impact of this was like 35 million. So it's, you know, it's not super cheap. Has an impact. And I put the date out to fiscal to calendar year 2027, so January 1, 2027. So it wouldn't affect what we're all currently doing, what we're currently voting on. Wouldn't come into play until calendar year 2027 tax year. Yeah, and that's basically what it is. And the intent, like I said, is to give some tax relief to folks. And I mean, we're willing to spend a lot of money on a lot of things, and so this might encourage us to maybe be a little more.
Did you have an idea of how you're going to make up that deficit?
Well, hoping that possibly some of the measures that we're putting in place, like the bill we just passed, should over time reduce the cost of the whole homeless care that we provide. I think there were some nice measures in there to provide some reporting and encourage a downward trend on that. It maybe even encourage a fewer people to become homeless if we let them keep more of their own tax money. Keep their own money rather than taxing it away from them. So, yeah.
Did you just say that you thought people were becoming homeless because their Social Security income was being taxed when they make $100,000 a year?
That's certainly possible, I guess. It's a possibility. Probably unlikely once you get up to that range, but depends on their situation.
We took a lot of testimony on Social Security last year when we passed a pretty significant expansion of the exemption. One of the things that I don't remember the full diagram of, but we spent a lot of time on, is the way the federal exemptions flow through to the state exemptions, and that functionally it's like 80 or 90% of Vermonters who receive Social Security are already completely exempt with the language we passed last year. This is just huge tax policy. It's not clear what we would cut in the budget to do at the 11th hour. I appreciate you trying to
push it out so that
push it out. Yeah.
Anything this year.
Yeah. But we just need to take a lot more testimony on fairly significant tax changes than this. So I don't know if you sponsored a bill on this that we didn't get to on our wall yet, but if you wanted to, we could
It's,
take testimony on it in the future.
it was extracted from, Jim Harrison's bill, was it 74, I think, that, carried through. Yeah. That, so I basically went to the final conclusion of H74, took the, section 7, which is like the highest bracket out of there, and just made that the amendment.
Anyone have any questions? Yeah.
You're right, Madam Chair. Over the years, we've taken a lot of testimony on social security taxation, and we were able last year to bump it favorable a little bit. And as you know, it's quite a balancing act that we're trying to do,
Yes.
The question someone would ask, or I guess it's already been asked, is how we're gonna pay for it. So appreciate your coming in. Nice to see you on a sunny day. I would move that we find it favorable. If you're ready for that.
Just need a motion.
Oh, I'm so sorry. What was your motion? Thank you.
Find it unfavorable. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Representative Maslin asked that we find this unfavorable. All those in favor of finding it unfavorable?
Please.
We
Second.
need a second.
Nope.
Don't even really need a vote. So I'm just making sure I understand. So
I have a lot of questions on it, but I guess we're just gonna jump right to the vote. I mean, it's okay, we probably can't answer them without doing a bunch of research. I think, I mean,
Pat Henderson's not even in right now. Yes.
right, I'd love to know what the demographic looks like that we are helping here. We covered pretty much everybody in need with our last year's effort. By in need, I mean, up to a pretty healthy income. I would love to be able to approve this, but there's the $35 million hole. How are we gonna fill that? We gotta raise another tax to get rid of this one. There's no other way, I bet you.
Yeah.
So I gotta vote yes for it very reluctantly. I'd love to get rid of this tax, but I can't. Not at this point, and it's 35 million. It was 15 million maybe, but I can't see it.
Yeah, appreciate
It's hungry and miserable, so.
And pursuant to discussions,
Discussion.
I think, it's one way, but I've heard a lot of people too talk about the possibility, or, let's look at these retired folks that can't afford their property taxes, and maybe we should have a provision like I believe a few states have as far as, no property tax for, individuals over a certain age or a percentage, that sort of. So there's a lot of options out there, I think, to help out the folks in that category, but I think it should all be considered.
And actually, the tax incident study that we're gonna get back from JFO will enable us to actually answer exactly the question that you're all asking, which is like, what are we doing for older Vermonters?
Right.
What income brackets are we leaving out? Where is there a cliff between
Yeah.
a property tax credit and our social security exemptions? And maybe next year we'll actually have the information we need to figure out where that's out there.
Can you speak from personal experience? My wife receives the social security benefits, and our income is such that we float kind of just above and just below that. And so some years our state tax is really high and some years it's a little lower. And so, like this year, I'm finding myself in a penalty situation because my income happened to be a little higher last year because I'm here, just that little bit that we get, it's like pushed us over the limit. And so it just, yeah. Like you said, there's like a cliff there. So just kind of smooth that out, push it up a little bit. So the social security benefits that we receive aren't the thing that's like causing us to jump over.
I'm happy to take more testimony about it in the future, but these are, as you said, enormous fiscal decisions that we need hard numbers for before we make them. Anyone else have anything to say?
You're gonna finish the vote?
Yeah, we are. Second.
I just want to make sure we're done.
All those in favor of rejecting the amendment.
Ooh.
All those opposed.
Okay,
Yeah.
we found it unfavorable 10-1-0.
Thank you, Representative Burkhart. Thank you, Representative North.
You owe Bill lunch, by the way.
Bill.
Have half.
Downstairs.
Yes.
Thank you, Rob. Before we go, Representative North, you mentioned in line that you might have another one on this bill.
Yes,
What?
yes. One that I'm still working on with JFO on to understand the impacts.
We're on third reading, so
I know.
Hurry up.
A minute, yeah.
You really think we're gonna get to third reading on this today?
we were supposed to do it
Now.
immediately now, but it got postponed because we were all sitting here.
Yeah. Well,
So I think it's next up after the T-bill. Do you think perhaps you could take it up in the Senate?
possible.
Okay,
Yeah, it's like I missed the opportunity.
yeah,
I was still waiting on JFO to give me the impact.
okay.
Right.
Happy to make an introduction in the Senate if you need to talk to them.
Right.
Okay,